We're here. We are live. Welcome back, everyone. I got Sean on. Sean, how you doing today, man?
Hey, Alex. I'm doing pretty good. Just trying to relax a little bit. Took a nice morning walk, and then you texted me to hop on. So I'm like, let's do it.
And the new backdrop, it looks a lot prettier than the last one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had it against a wall last time, so now I've got I just moved into a new place, and yeah, just very close to home. Somewhere I've lived for about the last 7 or 8 years.
Awesome. It's the same area though.
Yeah, about 15, 20 minutes south of where I was at, but still nice, sunny Arizona.
So how are things, man? Everything good? TCG fish still everything seems to be growing there, right?
Yeah, TCG Fish is doing great. We've got all sorts of new features. We put out our PMI index, which is pretty much an S&P 500 for trading cards. It tracks the returns, weekly, monthly over the last year or so. And I think it actually might even go back 2 years, but it's a really complex feature that I haven't even been able to fully examine yet.
Hold on, explain that. So it's what's it?
Yeah, here, let me go ahead and share my screen real quick.
Okay.
All right. So here's the page. So it's the Pokemon Market Index 500 or the PMI 500.
Okay. Like the S&P?
Yeah, just like the S&P. And
All
so
right.
We've got one that's a general market index, one that's a CGC market index, and then one that's an English and Japanese market index.
So what is the Pokemon, like PSA?
So we're completely transparent about what and how we built the index. So it's an algorithmic selection. So it's, Steven built, as he does, a pretty crazy mathematical algorithm to pick cards based on their liquidity factors, their tenure within the market, the capitalization and various float criteria. So they need to be cards that are reasonably commonly traded. They need to have a minimum market capitalization of about 35 grand. It needs to be at least a couple years old, so it's not some card that just released yesterday and because it pumps up for a very short period of time or there's hype.
So anything like pre-Sword and Shield?
Yes, correct. So anything from 2021 and earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, everything is completely transparent of what and how these the 500 cards were picked. So
hold on. So say that again. So it's the top 500 cards?
Well, so this is one where I'm not the mathematical genius behind this, but if you read this whole section, some of which I don't quite understand myself, this is the criteria in which the 500 cards were picked.
Okay.
Is that you click, you've got each of the different indexes, and these are the indices, and these are the criteria of what and how it was selected.
Okay. And then I forget, you told me this before, but you may not be able to answer this either, but the site is, where does it take data from? Is it just eBay or is it any auction platform?
Pretty much any public auction data. We do our best to track the market in the most comprehensive fashion possible.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So, and the great thing is this is we can pretty clearly demonstrate what happened during the pandemic when we go back, almost 4 years with data.
And you know what? Let's stop right here because it kind of goes into one of the topics I wanted to talk about. Is what's your feel on the market? I mean, you can kind of see in the past, May 2023, we've had an uptick. Things cooled off, but now it looks like they bottomed. They're starting to kind of turn up. So where are you looking, going into 2024? Do you think we're looking in good shape? I mean, do you think things have kind of bottomed? We're looking for more of a bullish market? I mean, where are your feelings right now?
So look, if we look from 2021 to current and we look at how much things pumped up during the pandemic, I'd say that this is a really healthy stabilization period. You see cards are up a little bit, down a little bit, but there's no crazy pump spikes, nothing insane. Right. And so, I'll zoom in here, hopefully that it works for the streaming here, but you can see from January 22 to current. So we're at almost a 2-year period. And if we look at September, we're actually relatively stable. Right. And so obviously there's there's going to be outliers. There's going to be cards that go crazy high because they're promos and people are chasing them, cards that go low because they're low population. You didn't have the right 2 bidders at the same time, but overall remarkably stable. And
where is there's an English? What is the English?
Yes, that's actually what I was about to go to. And you might be very, very surprised, but the only positive index right now is the Japanese. So over the last year and last 2 years, you could actually expect Japanese to perform stronger than English. And
I'm gonna get trolled so hard by that from so much of my audience.
Really? Like that's the objective data for you, right?
You can't argue with it.
Yeah. And so the reality is Japanese started lower than English. And so, you have a lot more people purchasing, and it's actually, it's pretty much stabilized with English, but because it started out lower and it wasn't subject to as much of the crazy spike during the pandemic, you see the rise, but you don't see the meteoric rise like you do with the English. And so,
and even after its fall, it kind of fell right back in line with where it was rising.
Yes, exactly. So it's pretty now. It's we can look at this and go, this is actually just on par with English, but because it started much lower, the returns have been positive.
So the Japanese, the red's English, and then the yellow. So the yellow could be English or Japanese. You're saying
the yellow is the PSA index. The red is the English.
Could it be English or Japanese cards in that?
Let's check. So for the criteria, English PMI 500 index characteristics. So 100% English. And yes, so I would say based on what we've got here, this is the breakdown. So we've got 44%. It's almost a pretty even split between modern and vintage. Nines and tens, and then even value distribution. But that is 100%.
Hey, actually, go back down. So guys, or a little more. So guys, I wanted to draw your attention to this. This is kind of what I always talk about is with the whole mid-era stuff. The biggest crazes ever were the 1999 into the 2000s, and then when Evolutions, Pokemon Go, the game came out, and then obviously with the pandemic. And you can see that in the card. So 1999, 2003, 44%. 2017 plus is 45%. So it's like any of that mid-era stuff is just, it's kind of like what I always say, it just doesn't have the popularity, the demand that a lot of the other cards had because the customer base wasn't there. And it's hard to predict, but not as many people are going back to chase like the mid-era stuff right now. They're either going back and chasing like the first edition stuff, or they're going back and chasing the stuff where they got in the hobby, like when I did, like XY era or Sun and Moon era, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I would probably operate under the assumption, and I'm trying to locate it here, the 04 to 09. But look, you're right. It's lower population, it's lower print run. And so this is where a lot of those values become driven by the registry and registry collectors and people wanting to complete sets in high grade. But so here's one of them, right? The Entei Gold Star Unseen Forces in a PSA 9. And that's and then you've got your Suicune as well and your Raikou. So those are going to be cards that trade quite often. We all know the story with those about the ones that left the factory. And so you've got those 3 gold stars are in that 05 range. And I'm trying to see if that's it or what else there might be. But again, all of this is completely transparent. You can literally look at what cards compromise what cards constitute the index here. And let's see.
Well, this tells you where the money's heading,
Yep. These are, realistically, when you look at the portfolio weight, these are probably the most liquid cards. And again, Stephen, gave us all of it in a transparent manner up top, but these are going to be their most liquid cards that are and within their portfolio weight. Right. And so these are what provides you what has a positive or negative return within those charts.
So, wow, that's pretty It's pretty crazy to see the Umbreon VMAX up there ahead of the base set Charizard.
Yeah. So I don't, this is where,
yeah, you don't know how it's all
it trades. It's probably because it trades so often. So even though it is headed down because it had a massive spike, it's a very liquid card. You can expect it to sell within a pretty narrow market range right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can just throw it at auction and you're going to get market price on those cards. Which is nice.
Exactly. And then
this is pretty crazy stuff. Like,
yeah.
And guys, I know everyone here, a lot of people here are into this, but I know everyone here doesn't like go this deep into numbers. But any of you that are watching this that do, this is going to be one of your best tools out there to kind of figure out, where to position yourself if you're trying to like figure out where you're gonna, what are the best cards to invest in, where the most liquid, how you want your portfolio to look. I mean, this is kind of it. I mean, this is kind of what investors do with the S&P 500 when they're looking to diversify their portfolio. This is what it is for Pokemon. There's nothing else like this out there.
Yeah. Look, just looking at the cards on this, it's all of the most popular liquid cards. Steven did a great job with this. But look, you've got your Pikachu Scream, the Munch card. Right. And so that and the XY anniversary Festa, those are pretty equal weights, even though the estimated market values and the market caps are obviously very different. But, these cards that were selected for this, and the interesting thing with Japanese is there's more higher value cards. There's actually almost exclusively 9s and 10s. These have over time had a positive return.
Yeah, well, they're easier to grade, right?
Yeah. And then you get, much easier. Japanese card stock is much better. And then the interesting thing is there's almost 5% in that mid era because there's so many cool promotional cards that came out in that 04 to 09 era. And here's the the level X Pikachu, and again, that's a promo card, so relatively common but strong value. And let's see what the next one's going to be here. Here's cool cards, just like McDonald's Charmander, right? $400, but just freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So like, here's your Mew. So like, this is a play promo. This is a player card that you got as a prize in Japan when you had a certain amount of league points. And these are cards that there aren't as many of them, or they are like a lot of the artworks around that time for English cards are just really oddball, and there's not many graded. And that one, like, I know that Mew's my favorite Pokemon. It's just the artwork's freaking incredible.
What's going to be really interesting to see is, in like 3 months, I want to go back and look at all the recent sales of all the cards that show up on these indexes and see how many people start going after them after they realize, oh, I didn't know about that card, or oh, okay, this is one of the most high demand stuff, because I'm sure this will have some of that effect on the market.
Yeah, definitely. This just brings to light into, kind of to your eye, what are the most collectible cards algorithmically, statistically speaking, and what and why they're weighted within the portfolio. And,
Gotcha.
Again, everything here completely transparent. You can look at the documentation behind each and every single, PMI index. And then you can do as deep of a dive as you want. It is so deep that you could look at every single card that constitutes the index, what its weight is, what its grade is, and what its market value is.
So go to the CGC one.
Sure.
I'm interested to see, is that mostly comprised of pristines?
All right, so
let's see. English
card, Japanese card. I'm not seeing it here.
Scroll up a little more. Past the graph. There it is. So,
let me go. Wait, let me go to the PMI.
There it is. There it is. The PMI 500 CGC index.
Okay, so let's see. It doesn't seem. I guess it's not displayed here.
What if you scroll up? What if you click? All right. What if you click on the middle one, the PMI 500 CGC Gem Mint?
Nope, not clickable. So that's clickable. I'm gonna need to take down some feedback and make sure that one is listed. Oh wait.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Wait, it might be don't quote me on this. I'm just taking a guess, but I believe that it might be the same cards, but each of these cards is a CGC 10 and is a CGC pristine. So I'll get some clarification on that next time I hop on. I'll be able to tell you. But that's
you can definitely tell, which was kind of what I thought. In the last year, I mean, the CGC pristines are holding up pretty well.
Yes. Yeah, the pristines are
2.67% down.
Yeah, the pristines are maintaining pretty well. And, the Gem Mint 10, the pricing is pretty much normalized to roughly where it was at even when the cards were graded 9.5. So,
it's just had that weird, kind of land in between a PSA 10 and a 9. It's kind of like, and it's just it's such a weird game. It's just like, trying to upgrade 9s to CGC 10s. Is the 10 good enough to try to crack and get a PSA 10 or get it pristine? It's just such a weird game you can play with the grading,
Yeah, look, I had someone call me up to buy some cards literally just yesterday afternoon, and he said, "Hey, I'm buying up a bunch of this card in CGC 10s because I'm going to go try and cross them to PSA 10s." And he did the math, and he said, I'm not going to disclose which card, but he basically said, look, if I can buy 10 of this card and I can get one to go to a PSA 10 and I sell the rest at a 10% loss, then he made money. And, that's almost grading arbitrage. And arbitrage might not be the right word because there's some inherent risk, but it's definitely a game that a lot of people play.
Yeah, absolutely.
I buy up and scoop up 9s and 9.5s all the time.
Do you, just to get the 10s now?
Yeah, like if there's a big difference, like for example, there are cards that in a PSA 9 are $100, but in a 10 or 2,000. And so if you buy 10 or 15 or 20 copies of that card and you even hit one of them, you pretty much pay for all of them. So as long as you
mean in a PSA 10, not a CGC 10.
Yeah, and so the CGC 10 will sell at a discount, generally about 30 to 40%, but you can still do the numbers and make them work.
So, man, I know I wanted to talk about this a little bit, but you graded tons of cards, right? So, yeah. I mean, the going discussion we always have on my channel, and I'm not a big guy. I might grade 50 to 100 cards a month, and other channels grade a lot, but nowhere near the level you do. So, how do you respond to this question of, it seems like the grading companies are tightening up? Pretty much everyone agrees these days that vintage is really getting harder to grade. Grading companies aren't giving as high grades. And a lot of people now are saying they're even getting a lot more 9s when it comes to modern cards. So are you seeing this? The grading companies are tightening up, or is it just, are people just hit and miss? Like, what do you see?
It's a really good question. And I've been saying the same thing for probably the last 7 or 8 years. And I forget if I've said it on a previous interview with you, but I'll say it again. And this is my personal sentiment of just tracking the market. And some of this is provable with data, other is just a good gut feeling. I feel that as the market expands, grading contracts, and as the market contracts, grading expands. So every grading company is fighting for some form of market share. And if someone is, let's say card prices, like right now, they're falling a little bit. So I personally think more high grades are strategically being handed out. And, I am seeing PSA 10s that I know during the pandemic were not 10s. They were very, very tight during the pandemic, and now I'm seeing cards with generalized wear. But I see this on every single company. You see, even look at Beckett Black Labels, and I think there's GemRate. There's some websites that track this stuff, but Beckett Black Label might be one of the best indicators of this, because during the pandemic, some of those premiums were insane. Like you could see a PSA 10 of that card go for $1,000, and Beckett Black Label go for $15,000 or $18,000. And that premium, it still maintains a massive premium. But I'm seeing a lot more Black Labels on the market. Are you seeing more at auction, or what do you think about that?
I definitely hear people grading a lot more. The one person that comes to mind is Dan Ketchmock Collectibles, showed like I don't even know what he had, like a 20. I forget. I don't want to say a number because I forget the exact. But he had a huge percentage of the Nagaba cards come back as black label 10s from what he sent, which seemed astronomically high. And he even said it's higher than normal. So yeah, they're definitely giving them out these days.
Yeah, look, so that's where, again, there's probably someone somewhere that tracks that and can, prove with data and say, hey, for the same ratio of cards being graded, more high grades are being handed out. But that's just a generalized sentiment that I have, because if card prices are lower, like when you look during the pandemic, you had first edition base set Charizards in 8s getting up to $30,000 or $40,000, which is more than what the 9s are now. And so, I think that some of the grading companies, they track the liquidity and they track this. And I've watched pandemic era cards get cracked out that people pulled out of packs that they were getting 7s and 8s on, and today they've got 9s and 10s. I mean, there's a lot of, like, I know South Florida Pokemon, he prides himself. He buys stuff and cracks out all the time. And I know that he's got a really good eye, and he's cracked out, 8s and got 9s and 9.5s on them before.
Man, I'm just following the chat. All right, everyone keeps that. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the mystery packs, man.
What about them?
I mean, everything seems to be going really well with them. I mean, contrary to what some people think, but I know Old Card Shop's in the chat, and he sells a good amount of mystery, I guess not packs, but like, mystery lots and things like that on his eBay and at Collecticons or shows. And I'm going to be trying to vend this next year at some places. So yeah, I'm pretty interested myself. Like, I mean, what's the deal? I mean, are these pretty good routes to take? I mean, how's the business going is my question.
Yeah, so look, Omega's going really good. We've got quite a few vendors and card shops around the country that carry the product and sell it at a pretty reasonable rate. It's just another trading card product, and the same way you go open a booster pack of Pokemon cards, you can open a booster pack of Omega, and you get a slab which has pretty much some sort of guaranteed value for whatever you're spending. So it's like, do you want to go spend $30 on 4 or 5 packs of Pokemon cards, or do you want to go spend $30 on a mystery slab, which have the range on what those are worth is probably just as narrow and is what a raw card. You can open up 5 packs of Pokemon cards and get $5 out of it. You could open 5 packs, get a couple hundred, and with a slab, even the worst ones are probably worth, $7, $8, $10. And the best one, somewhere in the run is a first edition CGC Shadowless Zard. And we took steps to ensure that from the first box to the last, everything has an equal chance at it. It's being done by third-party fulfillment. It was packaged by a company that packages for, Leaf and Panini and Topps. And we took every single step to randomize and ensure fairness of the product.
Well, yeah, I mean, and obviously that's like the big chase is that, but that's not the only thing in there. I mean, you guys got other high-end cards in there.
Yeah, look, there's over 1,000 staff and pre-release and national championships cards. There's I think roughly 1 in every 4 cards is a holographic or reverse holographic. We're still working on some of the statistics. It's pretty crazy, but I think 75% of the cards are 9 or better, and 40% are gem or pristine. And we kicked out as much of the lower grade stuff as possible. So we overgraded and removed bad hits. And we're human, and so we have 20 people, some of which are trained on Pokemon and are lifelong collectors, and others that aren't. And so look, as with any product, it's we build all of them by hand, and we're subject to some error, but we really do our best. So, and I know we've actually been working on a video, kind of the making of, just to give a little bit of insight. So I'll probably, it's a 10-minute long video that's still being cut and edited, but I'll show probably 20, 30 seconds of it just so that you can get an idea. So
we get the live premiere here.
Yeah, get the live premiere
on Nostalgianomics.
Yeah.
Let's check it out, man.
All right. Let's see.
So you haven't been getting any pushback up from the big guys, right? Like the MJ Holdings or any of them?
What was that?
You haven't been getting any pushback from like the big guys, like the MJ Holdings or any of the
mystery
box guys?
I think all the big guys, they just stay in their lane. They operate their companies the best they can, and you just kind of wish everyone well, right? Like there's more than enough business for everyone in the world, right? So, but let me start this segment real quick.
Omega Street boxes.
Exactly. Hey,
we can say I've seen a lot more variety this time and a lot of sheets. Like these are some boxes that I'm like, dang, I really want this box, and I'm like, yeah, I want to open some of this. Like this is like on another level. Quality looks great. I mean, I have first-hand experience dealing with all this, and this is graded slabs too, so that's like one up from just like packs or raw cards.
Wow.
Let me. So that's a little bit of a sneak peek. So we're working on the making of, just to kind of show everyone what and how we did it, right?
Gotcha.
But look, it's no small feat, or task to pull off, packaging and assembling and quality control on that many, cards and boxes.
No, I can imagine. I mean, have you guys had any issues with like any of the packaging or like anything getting broken or like cracked?
So there's been, because some of the packaging is automated, there's been a few people that have reached out that have some scuffs on the cards or some cracked folders, and we just tell them, keep the card. Here's a refund. It's been, infinitesimal fractions of a percent. But that's just customer service, right? If you buy something and it's not as expected or it's damaged, you generally send it back for a refund. And for us, like it's just easier to say keep the slab or even go buy another one if you want. And I think the honest answer is we've only replaced one box for someone of anything that's been sold so far. And I'd say that that's a pretty good outcome as far as people being satisfied with the product that they're buying.
I can imagine one box. I mean, it had to be tens, hundreds of thousands of those sold. So
yeah, look, and the funny thing is that one box, I was happy. There's a couple cards I'll probably, probably want to buy from the business to keep for my collection. Like one of the cards they got was a pristine 10 Holon Phantoms, a Delta Species Pikachu. And like that card's probably like 120 or 130 bucks, and they hit like some Deoxys 10s and some vintage 10s and like an EX Zardna 10. And I'm like, look, if you're not satisfied with that, like please, here's a shipping label, send it back, and here's your money back, because I'm more than happy to grab those cards. But look,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, look, some people, it's not about the value, right? Like, so this person, they actually probably had a net positive box, but for whatever reason, they didn't like their experience, and we want to do the best that we can for everyone.
So you feel free to answer this next question or not, because I don't want to like get your business plan out. What is the plan with? I mean, are you guys like wanting to get into like big box retail with these eventually? Is this just
Yes, actually, no. We explored big box retail, but the margins, and this is why, to some extent, like people chastise MJ Holdings, but when you look at the volume that they have to go through and the margins that you need to deliver to big box retailers, it just doesn't. You can't deliver that quality of a product. So if a product retails at Walmart for about $30, you got to land it to them for 13. And so you even if they're trying to make a dollar or two per box, they may only have $8 or $9 or $10 after logistics and cost to actually put product and packs and packaging into the box. And so naturally, just because of the retail chain, the customer is not the beneficiary of the value. And so we try and eliminate retail and get directly to whoever is selling it to the customer or direct to the customer, so that there's no massive gap in the value chain that's only going into a big box retailer. But we do have some really cool things in store, and I don't want to necessarily go into specific details, but we're working on some really, really cool stuff for the next run, and in the closing, the closing of a couple different deals that'll probably blow people's minds. So
can't wait. I mean, I know I mean, not as much these days. When I got back in the hobby, I was definitely a mystery box guy. I mean, I was buying those at Walmart. I enjoyed it. I never pulled a vintage pack out of one, but I mean, I know other people did it. They're fun products. I mean, it's just like, it's just the next stage of opening packs. I mean, I know how much I enjoy just getting my cards back from PSA. I'm one of those people that I don't look at the PSA grades. I'll wait till I get it back and I'll like go through each card. So I mean, just doing that out of a box has just it's fun in and of itself. So I get it.
Yeah, look, I see no difference between any packaged mystery product, versus a Pokemon pack. The only difference is, let's say there's plenty of mystery packs or products or booster packs that people they're going out and buying things at retail to mark them up, whereas we grade them ourselves, right? And so we're trying to build that graded value add for the customer by grading everything ourselves versus going out and spending $100 on something going, well, we need to mark it up 20% or 30% to meet our margin. And then you have a streamer that needs to mark it up another 20 or 30% to meet their margin, right? And so it's a way that we can get, we can kind of cut a retailer out of the chain and the massive margins that they capture. And because we grade it ourselves, we're able to pass on the margin and the value to the customer. And that's the mission statement of the company, is to deliver as much value back to the customer as possible. And when you look at the expected value and the expected return, if you're buying a Pokemon card pack to go, hey, I'm spending $10, how much of that am I getting back? I would tell you, put it toe to toe with any Pokemon pack or product, and I think that it's going to be pretty much up there with the best of the best.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, I mean, to switch gears a little bit, going into 2024. I mean, you don't really consider yourself like an investor, do you, or more of a collector? What do you think?
I mean, I have a core collection, various trophy cards and test prints and prototypes, and then just items that are kind of sentimental, near and dear. Some of that stuff is comic books, some of that stuff is Pokemon, some of it is sports. But so I guess if you want to expand on the question, I'll answer it as best I can.
Yeah, going into 2024, like how are you positioning yourself? Are there certain things that you're thinking of letting go? Are there other certain things you're thinking of picking up? Like, where, just in your opinion, where are you seeing a lot of the market going, and the ups and downs of things?
I'm personally targeting English trophy cards. I think that those are objectively rare. There's some of them, there's only 3 of them that exist. Some of them there's 6 or 9. But those, in my opinion, just based on history of a variety of collectibles, I think that the objectively rare eventually set themselves apart. And so those are my favorite sort of cards to pick up. And so you've got all your world's cards and your champions cards and trophy cards, and like I'm pretty bullish on those. They generally they come up and they go ebbs and flows, but they've been really stable and risen over the last 5, 10, 15 years.
So what about when it comes to like condition rarity? Is that still up there, you think? Or
yes and no. There's certain cards that are just notoriously difficult, right? So like there's some of those mid-era sets that are not very collected, that like the 07s and 08s, some of those where it's like a full reverse holographic. Those cards, sometimes there's like only been 3 or 5 or 10 of them ever graded with 0 10s. And so
the same thing kind of goes for like XY. If you ever followed those, like they have a lot of like 12, 40, 50 pop on a lot of those 10s because they were just such bad quality. So I was just, when it comes to those, the mid era, like where these cards have like you said, no 10s, 10 to 20, 30, 40, 50 10s, like is the condition rarity enough, or are you just going after just like the actual rarity?
There are certain cards that I'll pursue as condition rarities, and it's mostly that mid era stuff. If you look at, let's say, Delta Species, right? That box at auction is probably 36 grand, and at retail might be 40, 42 grand. So each of those packs is like $1,000 or more. And when you go look at even a common or an uncommon from Delta Species in a 10, some of those you can buy for 30 or 40 or 50 bucks. And you have to think, like, if you're opening that box, now obviously you're going to be chasing big cards here and there, but that common in a pack is like $100. Add grading and shipping, 120, 130, 140, depending on how big your order is. And so I think that mid-era commons and uncommons, I think any of that card, I personally am going to examine box and pack price in relation to the individual cards in the set. especially like the very first card and the very last card in the set, because those are going to be even more condition rarities, because when someone put a set in a box, that first card and the last card generally have more impact than everything else.
What about the reverse side of that, the sealed boxes?
I'm not a fan of sealed boxes personally.
Really?
I just think there's too much inherent risk with that, and so I stay away.
You mean with like the resale?
Yeah, you just look, if eBay's got authenticity programs, and if you sell, right, like if you sell your PSA card or your CGC card, it goes through that, and you can't, you really, it's good, it's kind of held up, so to speak, and you can't really return it. Whereas with sealed material, you never know who's on the other side, and it's just, my statement there is, let's say you sell 20 boxes with no problems, but then you have one where you have a bad actor on the other side, and whether they claim something or they return it or they change something out, like that one bad sale can wipe out the gains on a bunch of good ones. Whereas if you go take a card and you sell it, you're not going to have that sort of issue. And so because of the inherent risk, I just stay away from investing or holding that stuff. And I would prefer to keep rare cards or certain rarities where the difficulty of the pack and the value of the pack is just very, very difficult, to like go, hey, this card to get it graded is minimum. If you pulled it from a pack is 120, I can go buy it in a 10 for $30. That's a steal.
Yeah, I mean, and then like, even going on further with that, I know Rusty TCG Gaming talked about it, and I've actually had it happen to me with one of my cards. I don't know if you have this happen at all, but this seems like lately it pops up here and there where PSA will, eBay will take down your listing and say this certification number is, it has been duplicated or there's an issue with it, and then you have to like send it back to PSA, or you like whatever you can do with it. So like, I know I guess the fakes are popping up, with, I don't know, the same certifications number and the way they can't catch it. So eBay just takes yours down too. I don't know. Like, have you seen that happen with any of your cards at all, or?
No, I've never had that happen to me personally. So I'm not sure kind of what or why that happens. I've seen like on some messages.
I had it happen with a Generations. So like a 2016, like Gardevoir, like not a valuable card at all. Like it was a 9. And they took it down, and I reached out, and that was the reason that it was associated with a fake card.
What? I mean, that's.
I just cracked it and resent it because I didn't want to deal with it, and got it's just weird though. It's just like,
did they replace it for free when they do that? Like, do they reholder it or do they send it in? Like, I've never heard that.
I have no clue. I just cracked it and sent it with one of my submissions.
Okay.
I didn't even go through the whole process. I just got the word back from eBay is that's why they took my listing down.
Interesting. Yeah, I can't speak on that one. It's pretty crazy though.
Yeah. So I mean, that's that weird stuff going on.
And then I do have about 10 more minutes that I can.
About 10 more. Yeah, I knew this was gonna be a short one. And guys, you can stick around after. Sean's got to go, but I'll stick around and answer some questions. Not all of them. I know you guys are asking all kind of crazy questions. I won't answer all of them. I'll answer Pokemon market related questions. But what was I gonna ask you? I know we talked about like that, but are you, so other than like the trophies, the real high graded stuff, is that basically your main focus in the hobby right now? Is running the business, getting TCG fish, all dialed in for all the investors, and then just kind of adding personal things to your collection? Are there anything else on the horizon for you?
Yeah, look, the main thing is educating the industry and the market, which is done through transparent data, right? And so that's what the PMI, those indices are, so you can go look at what is the return if you want to invest in cards. What actually is the return, and what can you pick, and then you can go as granular, like that page. Like there's so many thousands of cards that are picked to be like you could spend the next year doing research off just that page alone, and so I think that just
it's a game changer. It is.
Yeah. So like that just kind of transparency is the main focus.
All right, now let's switch gears to the bad side of that. Do you think that with this amount of information and with more people getting more in depth with it, do you think it is going to eventually get the market's going to get too optimized and everyone's just going to have too much information and it's going to be really hard to ever find deals or ever find, what do you think how that's going to affect it?
that's a real possibility, right? I think that certain people optimize in certain ways. And so the reality is, I actually, as someone that buys and sells, the more information out there, the more transparency, the more difficult it becomes to find good deals. Right. And so by putting all of this out there and getting these public out to the world, I'm actually making buying and selling anything more difficult in terms of capturing large margins or deals going unnoticed. Right. We've got the deals page on TCG Fish, which shows the underpriced cards that people can go buy, and the algorithm, which Stephen tightened up even more, so it's even more narrow and more accurate. Right. And so it's just, for the market to grow for everyone, there needs to be an education tool, and there needs to be transparency, and that's what TCG Fish is promoting.
Cool, yeah. So I mean, this is kind of a controversial subject, and not like super controversial, but pop reports.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are vintage cards with high pop reports, like base set Charizard, things like that. But obviously, modern cards, definitely Sword and Shield, then some Sun and Moon XY. I mean, especially when you get over into the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 plus. What's your feelings on that? Because I know I've watched, sports card channels talk about it, like Sports Card Investor. There's definitely different thoughts throughout the community. A lot of people think, once the pop works is high, there's no chance. Some people think that the hobby just keeps growing, and at the size it is, the pop reports being that high aren't as big of a factor because of the popularity. Like, what are your thoughts when pop reports get into the thousands? Like, do those cards still have chances to grow, or are you?
Look, it's supply and demand, right? So you have a few categories. You have high supply, high demand, low supply, high demand, medium supply, and kind of all the inverses, right? And so you have something that's high supply but high demand, and it's trading and it's liquid. The Pokemon is the largest single franchise in the world. It's bigger than Marvel. It's bigger than any single Disney, IP, right? And so when you look at that and you go, well, this Charizard, there's been 5,000 copies of this graded. Well, how many tens or hundreds of millions of Pokemon collectors are there in the world where that 5,000, if the demand is there, is actually a really, really low number? And so as long as it's a hyper popular card that trades often and within a narrow margin, that is actually probably going to be the best opportunity for growth. It's something that's stable, right? Like the stability is what will allow long-term reasonable growth for everyone. That's why even though we're coming off of the 2020 hype, I think that we're in a completely healthy market period of stabilization.
Okay, yeah. And then this question I got from a Godly Shad. I don't know if he's in the chat today, but I talked to him quite a bit about it. It's kind of the idea of, like you were talking about, the collectors that go through and want to collect like completionists and things like that. Mm-hmm. When you're moving into like older, the rare, the high, whatever, the high rarity cards and low pop report cards, do you stick to like the most popular species, like the ones that are most liquid, most sought after, or do you think some of those like less popular species, less sought after cards are really undervalued, and in the future when completionists and like the whales come in, they want every card? Do you think those have a good opportunity, even though they're not a sought after species, but they're going to be for the whole collection? Do you think it's smart to move into those because the population and rarity is so much?
Yeah, so that's back to what I was talking about, the mid-era stuff where the cost to obtain that card out of a pack is astronomical now. That is stuff that, if let's say, you pick a Delta species Pikachu or a Delta species Ralts, or you pick that Ralt, you might not get as many people grading it because it's not liquid now. And so it's going to be a slow retail burn. But when that right collector comes along, it's going to be, an easy sell. It's up there. And if a whale comes along, oh, that card's $250. And if I went and opened up a box, I might not even get it. I'd be spending 36 grand. That $250 then becomes much less of an object for them. So I think that to some extent, anything low population, difficult, not popular species, they're going to have a lower supply and a lower demand, but they're going to have a higher upside. Whereas your Pikachus, your Charizards, your Gengars, your Dragonites, all your really popular Gen 1, Gen 2 type stuff, that stuff is pretty much blue chip, right? You can almost think as some of that low supply, low demand is almost like penny stocks. You might be able to buy it cheap, but you might be sitting on it forever. And that whereas that base set Charizard is more your blue chip, and it's going to, if you needed money tomorrow, you're going to get within a certain narrow margin for that card.
Yeah, and I think like the liquidity it's important, but I think it's thrown around like with too much weight, because I think the portfolio needs to be balanced. If you can have a lot of liquid cards, but it's nice to have some illiquid cards because, like you said, the margin, the gains can be a lot more drastic on those, especially when the market moves. And so I think it's about like just spreading your portfolio around. Like not every card you have, not every product you have has to sell tomorrow if you need the money. I mean, if you're that worried about it, maybe you should be buying Pokemon, right?
Yeah, I hear you. Look, that's and I'll answer this, and then I'll get one more question in. But yeah, look, be responsible with whatever you're purchasing, whatever you're spending money on, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's collectibles, whether it's life in general. Just be responsible. You can't overextend and go nuts, because when you absolutely need to pursue that liquidity, you're not going to be in that space where you can just sit on that delta species, uncommon that's some like Gen 4 that's very obscure. And if you need the money and you auction it, it's going to go low. And the guy that's either needs it for his set is like, oh, that's pleasant, I bought it for less, or a dealer's going to pick it up.
Yeah, Godly Chat just entered the chat. I think my example was something here. I'll pull it up. I think my example was something like Crystal Golem. Someone who buys a Crystal Charizard has a good chance of eventually wanting to collect crystals like Crystal Golem. A big whale will want the whole set. Yeah, I think that's kind of what the thought process is.
Yeah, like that just depends on. I've learned over the years that I don't try and understand collectors. Everyone's just going to do what they're going to do. And you never know why. I have seen people that have collected a bunch of complete sets and then just go to one Pokemon. I've seen the inverse true. I've seen people that do exactly what you just described. And I've seen people that have just started from day one, where they're specifically pursuing a certain grade or a certain grading company. So that's just a matter of patience and waiting.
So I guess before you go, I'll just kind of recap. So TCG Fish, I mean, active users continue to grow. It's looking strong.
Yeah, look, we're putting information out there, so just use it. That's the best thing I can say is we're trying to give you insights and information. So use them, provide feedback, hop on the Discord, hop in support. If you have feature requests, if you have anything that you need to ask for, you want, or you see an error, like just let us know so we can continue improving. Yeah,
and obviously the Omega product, I mean, that sounds strong. I mean, sales are happening there. You guys are, putting out. You said you're gonna have some new stuff. You're gonna announce.
Yeah,
so
I got some fun stuff. Yeah, I got some fun stuff we're working on, and like I said, we've got a video of just the making of, and just to show everyone what hard work and how many people worked on this product to make it happen.
And it's like I said, it's like I don't know, man. It's just I want to get your take on it, and I know you stay off YouTube pretty much, from what you told me, but. Lately, it just seems like there's so much negativity around the market, and like, all this stuff's gonna be worthless. There's too much of it, Pokemon. And as like everyone I talk to, like you, like your businesses are going good. Like everyone I talk to, like sales are up, business is good. I'm so busy. I talked to someone I wanted to have on the stream. They told me, hey, Alex, man, we're busy than ever. I haven't had a day off in 2 weeks. We got so much going on. It's like everywhere I look, everything looks good, but all I ever hear, from a lot of people are negativity. What is your take? What is going on?
Look, Pokemon, I think just due to the generalized age group, I think it's a bit immature. You have a lot of people from the business side that are immature, and if one bad thing happens, the sky is falling. And you have a lot of people on the collecting side. They're just a younger crowd. They haven't had life lessons. They haven't been through market cycles. And so the reality is the only way to fight negativity and lies is with positivity and the truth. And objective data and truth is just the best way to go. Look, here's what's actually happened in the market. Japanese is up, and here's why. English is down, and here's why. And obviously there's larger, economic and macro, economic conditions that lead to some of this stuff. But just again, back to be responsible with your money, examine the data, know your horizon. Are you buying this to flip? Is this a 1-year hold, a 5-year hold, a 10-year hold? Is this a collection piece for a lifetime? And just be responsible and like, just be positive. Everyone's just trying to have fun and collecting, right? Like, people see me talk about CGC. Like I have really cool PSA stuff and I have Beckett stuff and I have every grading company.
What do you got there? Right, what is that?
Here's all right. So this is a jungle no symbol. So part of the jungle run was.
Did you get that from Zach?
What?
I said, you get that from Zach?
I mean, I may buy cards from all sorts of places, but
I know he's
look,
got store loads.
Yeah. So look, jungle cards. There was part of the run that there was no black on the printing press for the jungle symbol, right? And so those are rare variants. But you have just be responsible, collect what you love, and do your research. And again, just be positive. There's too much negativity. There's too much bullying. I think there's just just everyone's here to have a good time and be happy. And you go to Collecticon and collectible conventions because you're there to meet your friends and have fun and do just that.
No, man, when you said that one phrase, like I say it all the time, it's like the only way to fight all the negativity and everything going on is numbers and data. Like you can't deny numbers and data. So, man, I appreciate you taking the time today, man.
Yeah, of course.
Anything you want to say before you go?
No, I'd say use that PMI. Give us so it's pmi.tcgfish.com. Please do. If you guys want to use it and tell us what you think. If there's errors in the page, it's still really a beta page. We just got it out there. But look, that is the most transparent index or set of indices that we felt we could put out to the market. So if you guys, any feedback, good, bad, and different, feature requests, please just let us know.
Awesome, Sean. Well, hey, man, I'll talk to you soon, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Alex, thanks so much. And I love your new backdrop as well. I love all the games, all the vintage games up there. So
I appreciate it, man. All right. See you.
See you later, man.
All right, guys, you got me. You got me for a little while. If anyone's got any questions, look, I'm going to address it right up front. I know I'm not ignoring the chat. All right, everyone thinks I'm ignoring you guys. I'm not ignoring it. I told you this in other videos. I'm not addressing all the drama, whether it be about me or other people. It's not what this channel is. All right, we're not getting into all the drama stuff here. Right, this is the Pokemon investing channel. It's what it's always been. It's what it's going to be. Yeah, I know I've drew myself into some of it in the past and I've got drawn into some of it in the past, but I made that video. I'm sticking to my word. We're not doing the drama stuff. So anyone who thought I wasn't asking the right questions, I'm not going to ask the drama questions. All right. I'm keeping it on business and investing and things like that. So if anyone's got any other stuff they want to talk about, I'm all ears. So sorry, old card shop. I know, man. I know you wanted to ask some stuff. Who else? I'm scrolling through, seeing what everyone wanted to talk about. Yeah, I mean, guys, we're not talking about all that. Like, it's just, there's other channels you can go to if you want to be involved in all that. Mine's just not the one. Let's see what we got going on in here. Does anyone want to talk about anything else? Anyone want to talk about anything else other than drama? Scott V says, forgot. I can't bring him up on YouTube. I got to actually go over here. Let me scroll through. Sealed product is king. If my box gets a stage where it's so expensive, I'd send it to someone like Rusty, who is actually trustworthy and someone who's. But that's the problem. Like I share what Sean said. Even Rusty's been fooled in the past. Like even Rusty now, I believe. I don't know if he does it with all his boxes, but a lot of them he'll open them up, inspect the packs, and then reseal them with dated stickers because even he's not 100% certain. PokeRev's been scammed on boxes. Like guys. People have been in the hobby the longest still can't tell sometimes with some of these fakes. So I get it. Like, that's one of the reasons why, once boxes appreciate to a certain amount, I sell a lot of my positions because I like to get out before it gets into those wacky, tens of thousands of dollars prices because you just don't know what you're dealing with at that point. And like he said, one bad sale can just like eat away just tons and tons of profits from so many different items and so much work you did with one scam. So, luckily I've never had a huge scam like that, but others have, and I just wouldn't want to be a part of it. So that kind of addresses that. Ignore chat at your own risk. We're ruthless, guys. I'm not gonna bring someone on and bring up all kind of drama about them. It's just not what's going to go on here. Here, why can we have more comments like this? Sean, oh, come on, man. Killing me. All right, what do people care so much about personal status with PSA? I'm more curious about All right. I swear to you, you guys are killing me here. Can we talk about anything else? No, that's it. I'm trying to find some comments. Yeah, golly shad, man. I made sure to bring up that thing you wanted to talk about. I can still have you on in the future though if you want to go into all that stuff more detail, because I know where you're coming from with that. I definitely understand like the whole trying to appeal to set collectors, and because a lot of the less popular Pokemon, less popular cards could be considered undervalued when compared to like some of the popular Pokemon and the same exact rarities like crystals, shinings, gold stars, going into alt arts, things like that. So yeah, it's definitely it's definitely a route to go. As we talked about, it's definitely going to be a less liquid route. It's definitely going to be one of those things where you're going to find the right buyer. It's definitely going to be one of those long-term plays. Just things like that. The sky is totally falling. Everyone panic. Negativity is bad in the community. I do agree. Just respect people. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for not asking a single good question. Dude, did I like promote this video as like some dramatic video? Like I literally titled it Live Pokemon Market Talk with special guest Sean Bassik. I mean, can I be any more obvious that we're going to be talking about the Pokemon market? I mean, if you wanted a dramatic video, I would have made some open mouth thumbnail, exposed. Like, I mean, what are you guys wanting here? You know what you get here. It's this Pokemon market channel. This isn't a drama channel. Jeez. Pikachu felt hat still grabbing 130. Is it down to 130 now? Wasn't it like 170s? Is that right? Is it really down to 130s? Let's pull it up right now. Let me go ahead and get the screen share on. We can definitely take a look at that. All right, screen share. All right, felt hats. Well, that's not what it is. Let's go SV promo. I almost typed it in as like the card name. What do we got here? Yeah, it's still going higher than that. I mean, on TCG Player at least. Sale just today, $155, $160. Lowest list is $155. So, I mean, it looks like it's still, I mean, maybe eBay's cheaper, but it looks like it's still fetching in the $150s, $160 on TCG Player. So, I mean, it's staying up. You can see it's starting to kind of roll over. In my opinion, I would guess it'd probably fall down into here eventually, in like the 100 to 120 range is where people wouldn't like to, where do you think it's a good spot to buy? Probably in that area. It might not get there. Maybe it has enough strength to stay there. I think once the hype wears off, though, it will fall to more realistic price points. But do I think it's going to fall like $50 like some people are saying? No, I don't. I think there's just too much. There's too much there. There wasn't enough supply and things like that. So, I don't have any. I'm not a felt hat Pikachu holder, so I have no dog in the race. So I'm just telling you what I think about it. Nice hat, spicing up the wardrobe. Have this for years now, man. The Blues haven't won the Stanley Cup in a while now. Oh, Jess is here. Just got my Charizard yesterday. Has anyone claimed? Guys, hold on. You can't make this up. Still here. It's still here. Not only that, I just sold mine. So I've been having people through the Discord, Instagram, wanting to work deals with me on my reverse hollow Charizard. And I wouldn't take any of the deals because I know it's a hard card to grade. It's a hard card to find. And so I held out and it just sold for just under $400. I sold it for $395. Buy it now. No best offer accepted. That's what it was listed at. And so this is a $400 card. I tried to give it away to 3 different people. No one's claimed it. I don't even know what to do at this point, man. I'm just going to keep trying, and maybe eventually someone that gets picked will claim it. It is the strangest thing I've ever seen. I've given away. What did I give away on the channel? I've given away on my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I gave away like a UPC, other celebrations product. I've given away, cards. I've given away packs. I've given away ETBs. I've given away tins. Given away collection boxes. I gave away like booster boxes. I've given away pretty much everything. I've never had something not claimed before. Not once. This has not been claimed 3 times. Go figure. It's beyond my understanding at this point. Would you do commission sales? What do you mean by that, Ramrod? Like you wanna send to me to sell for you? Is that what you're talking about? Whole card shop, dude. Have Sean on your channel if you want, man. We're not doing it here, bro. I'm staying out of that stuff. Like everyone else can go talk crap on me, and I'm not playing into it anymore. I don't care. I just don't care. It's so stupid. Had 63 of 100 cards damaged by PSA this last sub. Seems like these sort of mistakes are getting more common. Had any issues yourself? Lee, I haven't. I mean, all I can do is like continuously show my PSA orders when I submitted them, when I get them back, to show that I get them back usually within 2 months, sometimes a little more, never over 3, never. This whole year I haven't got one order over 3 months. I show most all my grades on camera now. Getting pretty much the same amount of 10s that I've always gotten. Haven't had any cards damaged. Like, look, I'm not saying this stuff doesn't happen to people. It's just, PSA is, I don't know. I think the issues are few and far between, in my opinion. So sorry, Lee, man, I can't say from my experience I've been having any issues. Good to hear they're paying out for you at least. I'll try to guest be on my podcast, but nobody wants to be on my tiny channel. I'll come on your channel. Dude, Old Card Shop, man, you reached out to me like months ago and asked and asked me. I said, sure, I'd come on. You never reached back out. Stay open-minded. Facts are facts. Hey, you guys just saw those Japanese numbers from the last year or two. I can't argue with those. Can't argue with it. Missed the boat on them. I mean, I still hold on my opinion that the next 2 years are going to look severely different than that. But we'll see, right? We'll see. BlackRock should create an ETF for Pokemon cards. People like iShares SP 500 for top 500 singles and rotate them in and out of quarter. Similar, honestly, man, we're like on the track. Like after Sean just showed us that on TCG Fish, it seems like we're getting closer and closer to something like that happening down the road. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. I mean, especially like with this Bitcoin and crypto ETF starting to supposedly going to get accepted. I mean, who knows where things can go in the future? Who knows? Dude, I don't know why you came for the drama, right? I don't know why. I can just steal the PSA data from Pokenomics Discord. Well, we're not going to get into talking about Pokenomics Discord. Then we'll start the drama, all right? Because let's see what we got. I promise I'll take that Charizard if I win. Well, man, hopefully you win the next one, though, man, because I'm trying to give it away my best. Yeah, I thought about this as well. Like, if no one claims this, I'm going to talk to Low Poppin and say, hey, man, I'm just going to give it to someone in the next live stream or something, because it's kind of getting ridiculous. Ryan H., I'll claim it. Just give it to me. At this point, everyone knows I deserve it. Think about all I've done for the sealed PC stock. It is very weird how Treo, every time he starts talking about something in the Discord and starts like pumping a different set, it ends up selling out of the Pokemon Center, or it starts rocketing up on. It's very. I'm gonna give it to you, man. If this keeps happening, I'm gonna start to be, agree with you. Something's fishy's going on with that. I should start a mudslinging match with Alex. Hey, man, everyone else does. You might as well, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if you're provoked, unprovoked, about you, not about you. Apparently, Alex is just the person that the internet likes to go after in Pokemon. I think it's because I'm not part of their club. And I think they're pissed off because I don't want to be part of their stupid club. It's got to be it. Alex, I understand away from drama, but I respect that. But this isn't drama, it's ethics. Would you feel bad if you knew PSA were going to make an 11 grade months before they said? Would you feel bad if you knew PSA was going to make an 11 grade months before they said? I don't know if I'd feel bad. What expand on that question. I don't really know what you mean by that. Would I feel bad? I don't know. Let's see. And bought up all the 10s. Oh, I see. You're trying to get at the CGC thing. Guys, there's insider information in every aspect of life, right? There's distributors and there's people high up at Pokemon that know stuff's coming and tell their friends. There's grading companies like, retail, like where people, the product gets there and the people at the stores buy it out before everyone else has a chance. Like it's part of life. Like I'm not going to talk about all that. Like I understand we all want like this perfect utopian society, but it's never going to be that way, right? It's just never going to be that way. It's never going to be 100% fairness, and you just have to work with the cards you're dealt. I mean, here's the thing, right? Here, I will answer that question. All right. At face value, it's not fair, right? What if I, worked my way up? What if I worked at, this company, that company, grinded, was working 60, 70, 80-hour weeks to rise up, and then I got put in this position and I made relationships with this person and I went out of my way to consistently reach out, sending emails and texts and phone calls and finally got, someone to reach out to me, and then I kept, I built relationships with this person. I built relationships with that person. This person opened doors there. And so you did all this work to open all these doors and build these relationships. And because of that, you got privileged data or privileged information. I don't know. Is it fair or is it not? I don't know. Like, you see what I'm saying there? Like, you can't just look at one aspect and think like, oh, it's not fair. It's like, well, what else went into it, right? Like, there's more to stories than people want to make out to be. I know it's like such a bad, it's a not answer everyone wants to hear, but it's the truth, right? Like the relationships you build and, the work you put in building those relationships and, the doors that you open or you open for yourself by everything that the risks or the things you do in life, they can have benefits, right? That's pretty much all I can say about it. That's my answer. Oh, car shop, you're one of the cabal, bro. Of course you can use your connections. You're part of it, man. You're part of the club. You don't know what it's like for us outsiders. We're not part of the club, bro. Yeah, this is true. I feel like all the people throwing fits about it would gladly use and exploit information and upset only. It's like politicians, right? Like, politicians will run all these great visions of grandeur about how they're going to stop everything. And then they get in, they're the ones taking the most bribes and and doing all the same stuff to line their pockets. It's like, come on, guys. Everyone wants to act like all holier than thou when it's not them. But then whenever they get like an insider deal or have insider information on something, they take advantage of it right away, right? Right away. Alex, did you ever take advantage of any TikTok deals? A few here and there. Nothing crazy. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I'm part of the cabal. I mean, hey, man. All I'm going to say is you can tell a lot about a guy with the groups he's in. You certainly have a lot of friends that I would consider in the cabal. This is news to me. Oh, man. Dude, I got to screw with you a little bit, man. You've been screwing with me all freaking stream. Should not go from 200K a year to over 300 million net worth within. Yeah, exactly, right? Mrs. Pelosi. All right, guys. I think I'm pretty much caught up. Scott says, Alex, I'm looking for a cosmic box for a collection. Will you sell me one? It's the only one I don't have. Dude, I don't have any cosmic. I mean, I've said it before. I sold every bit of my XY and Sun and Moon during 2020, 2021 times. When everything boomed, I took the profits, right? So I don't have any of that stuff left, unfortunately. And anything I did have left, or recently, I've opened up during box breaks. So I think we did open did we open a cosmic box? I know we opened Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, Ultra Prism. I think we did a cosmic. Maybe we didn't, though. Dude, you're taking this so far. I'm just messing with you, dude. Come on. The real question we want to answer is how many Galarian Surfetch V boxes do you own? I don't own any. I don't own any. I guess I'm not a true investor. All right, guys, that's enough. It's clear to me that a lot of people just want drama in here today. It's crazy. I can refer you to some drama channels if you would like to go there and get your drama fix for the day. Unfortunately, Nostalgianomics is no longer your source for Pokemon drama. I appreciate everyone showing up, though. I thought I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear about the new TCG Fish features. I wanted to hear how the Omega Mystery boxes were going. Here's the thing, guys. Like, I don't give a crap about the weird Poke drama going on. I just don't care. Like, I'm interested in financials. I'm interested in this business. I'm interested in, collecting these cards and finding them at the best prices. I'm interested in flipping things and getting the most margins on them so I can further my collection and further my investments. Like, that's the stuff I'm interested in personally. Like, and I know, people can look and be like, oh, this guy sucks. Like, he just talks about numbers and data. You investor, bro. Like, that's what I enjoy. Like, if you don't like it, don't be here. Like, it's all I can say. Like, I've never been less than forthright about what the goal is here. This is a Pokemon investing and business channel. It always has been since day one. I've never changed it. Some drama leaked in here from time to time. Other than that, I've never changed the entire, the entire feel, the entire point of this channel. It's always been about Pokemon investing, Pokemon business, collecting, finding the best deals, making the best plays, things like that. So that's how it's going to stay. Sorry if that isn't what, a lot of people want to hear these days. Everyone just wants the drama. So sorry, man. What? Let me see what some of this stuff's saying before I go. I have to. I can't not look. I'm trying not to look. I can't not look. Any Pokemon sealed you stocking up on currently? Currently, the most recent things I bought have been Sword and Shield era stuff. You know, I bought Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies, Astral Radiance, Silver Tempest, Lost Origin. Crown Zenith. I'm gonna be stocking up more on that. Probably 151 UPCs I'll start to buy. I think there'll be more ETBs in the future. They'll probably have a reprint just like Crown Zenith did. We'll be able to find them cheaper. So I'm going to hold off on the 151 ETBs. But other than that, I just see so much time to jump into Scarlet and Violet sets. And so I'm not picking any of those up currently this month or probably next month. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Here's the thing. Your situation may be different than mine. A lot of my money is being put into plays, right? To raw singles. I'm grading them. I'm flipping them. I'm making a business out of this. And so that's where a lot of my money's going right now. A lot of my time's going. So, you know, if I wasn't trying to run this as a business, if I had a full-time job, I would go back to what I was doing, right? Which I still 100% believe in, which is just, you know, investing, not doing all this work, right? Just paying attention to the market, finding deals, putting it away, holding long-term. It's just me trying to make a business out of this. It is taking more of my time, more of my capital. Alex, or anyone else in here, have you ever been investment broke? I've spent so much money on good deals lately that I'm almost broke. LOL. I need to stop. 100% I have been. I've been investment broke. I know people that go inventory broke, right? Where they have tons of inventory, but their bank account's lacking, and they just have to start auctioning or wait to sell some stuff where they buy more. It's definitely a thing. So yeah, I understand your pain. Guys, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Old Card Shop's going to be on the channel next week. So Josh can come on and he can address all this live. Like, Josh, why do you want to do this in the chat, man? Like, just wait a week, all right? You can air your grievances then. Oh, man. I respectfully disagree. This is definitely a drama channel with some other numbers thrown in. All right, guys, we're gonna end it with that. This is definitely a drama channel with just some numbers and data thrown in there. That's what we're gonna end it with. Appreciate all you guys showing up today. I know we had to do it a little early because I had to work around Sean's schedule. So other than that, guys, I'll have a new video coming out tomorrow. Stay tuned for Old Card Shop. He's gonna be on next week. And yeah, business as usual going forward. Talk to you guys all soon. We're out.